Good day, everyone. Today, we are looking at one of the most fundamental topics in economics, and by extension, in microeconomics, which is price system. By price system, we are actually looking at what determines what people will demand and what producer will supply. The people in this sense are the consumer. Therefore, as a rational consumer, when the price of commodity increases, we expect the quantity demand to drop, meaning that the higher the price of a commodity, the lower the quantity demanded. This is the first law of demand and supply, which is generally known as law of demand. For law of supply, we work under the assumption of all things being equal, which is ceteris paribus. For law of supply, the higher the price of a commodity, the higher the quantity a producer will be willing to supply, which is law of supply. Again, by law of demand, we try to explain the rationale behind why people tend to demand low quantity when price increases, and that is what law of demand is trying to emphasize. Law of supply helps to explain the rationale behind why producer will supply less when price decreases and supply more when price increases. From the illustration above, it is clear that as price increases, quantity consumer will demand will reduce. Let us use a mathematical notation for law of demand. According to the law, let's assume these are price column and these are quantity column. If price is 10, we assume quantity demand by the consumer is 15. If price increases to 12, following the law of demand, we expect the quantity to drop, probably to 10. Then this is consistent with the law of demand, which states that the higher the price of a commodity, the lower the quantity demand. We can provide a graphical illustration to this as follows. Given that these are price axis and these are quantity axis, at 10, quantity demand is 15. By increasing price to 12, quantity demand drops to 10. By joining these two cardinal points, we have our demand curve. This shows that the demand curve is a reflection of the law of demand, which states that the higher the price of a commodity, the lower the quantity consumer will demand. Also, to the law of supply. Also, for the law of supply, as shown by the relationship between price and quantity supply, the law of supply states that when price of commodity increases, producers supply more. Therefore, if price is 10 and producers supply 8, by increasing price to 12, we expect producer to supply 10. If price is 10, producer supply 8. By increasing price to 12, producer will supply 12. This shows that as price increases, quantity supply increase. However, the magnitude of increase in quantity supply will be treated in other sections of this lecture, which is the concept of elasticity. But for now, let's display this on a graph. Still price axis and quantity axis. When price is 10, quantity is 8. When price increases to 12, quantity increases to 12. As such, by joining the two cardinal points, we have our supply curve. Therefore, we can look into some of the questions in UTME, in GC and WAEC, and see the pattern and nature of questions relating to law of demand and supply. Following the question displayed on the screen, it is clear that at each price unit, quantity demand responds, quantity supply also responds. We can see that when price increases from 5 to 6, quantity demand drops from 500 to 400. When price increases from 6 to 7, quantity demand drops from 400 to 300. This is consistent with the law of demand, which says that the higher the price, the lower the quantity demand. We can see when price increases from 5 to 10, quantity demand drops from 500 to 50. Also for supply, in line with the law of supply, as price increases, quantity supply increases. So the question is, at what point does the market attain equilibrium? Earlier, we were able to establish that our demand curve is downward sloping, following the law of demand, and our supply curve is upward sloping, following the law of supply. Then by bringing the two curves together, which is demand and supply, remember that these are our price axis and these are our quantity axis. By bringing the supply curve and demand curve, we have a point where they intersect each other. That point is called equilibrium point. Equilibrium point. At equilibrium point, we obtain the equilibrium quantity, equilibrium price, and equilibrium quantity. So, with this background, then we can now attempt this question. So, this question requires the student to provide a graphical illustration of relationship between price and quantity demand and quantity supply, and to obtain the price and quantity at which the market attains equilibrium. When price is 5, quantity demand is 500. When price increases to 6, quantity demand is 400. When price is 7, quantity demand is 300. When price is 8, quantity demand is 250. When price is 9, quantity demand is 150. At 10, quantity demand is 50. So, this is similar to the graph we obtained earlier using the law of demand and supply. We can see by joining the cardinal points, we have a demand curve. By joining the cardinal points, we have a demand curve. Invariably, we look at the supply curve. For the supply curve, when price is 5, let me use red. Also, we look at the relationship between price and quantity supply. From the table, when price is 5, quantity supply is 60. When price is 6, quantity supply is 150. When price is 7, quantity supply is 300. When price is 8, quantity supply is 400. When price is 9, quantity supply is 500. And lastly, at 10, quantity supply is 600. By joining the cardinal point, we have the supply curve. Going by the first question, which is at what price and quantity does the market attain equilibrium? We can see that at equilibrium, as explained earlier, quantity demand equates quantity supply. And as shown by this diagram, at that point where quantity demand equates quantity supply, price is 7 naira, while quantity is 300. Therefore, at 7 naira and 300 units, the market attained equilibrium. Now to question 2. At what price does the market exhibit excess demand, and by how much? Let's refer back to the earlier graph showing upward sloping supply curve and downward sloping demand curve. As established here, this is the point where demand equates supply. Then we have our equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Going by the question, we want to establish the excess demand and by how much. From the graph, we can see that any price below equilibrium price, demand is greater than supply. At this point, demand is greater than supply. Therefore, any price below equilibrium price will result in excess demand. Also, any price above equilibrium price, we discover that supply is greater than demand. Supply is greater than demand. Supply is greater than demand. Then we have excess supply. Excess demand. Back to the question, which is, at what price does the market, at what prices does the market exhibit excess demand, and by how much? We can see that all prices below 7 will give excess demand. We can see at 6, demand is 400, while supply is 150. Therefore, the excess here is 250. Excess demand is 250. At 7, quantity demand is 500, while quantity supply is 60. Then the excess demand is 440. That answers question 2. Now to question 3. At what price does the market exhibit excess supply, and by how much? As established in the graph, any price above equilibrium price will result in excess supply. As shown on the graph, at 8, the value of demand is 250, and at the same 8, the value of supply is 400. Therefore, excess supply is 150. Also, at 9, the value of demand is 150, while the value of supply is 500. Then the excess supply is 350. Right? Good. Lastly, at 10, the value of demand is 50, while the value of supply is 600. Then the excess supply is 550. So that answers question 1, question 2, and question 3. Having established that demand curve is downward sloping, while supply curve is upward sloping, then our equilibrium point is established where demand equals supply, and equilibrium quantity is derived where demand equals supply. Then there is a need for us to examine the difference between change in demand and change in quantity demanded. For change in demand and change in quantity demanded, we are looking at the movement of demand and the movement along demand curve. Let's start with change in quantity demanded. We've been able to establish change in quantity demanded from our earlier illustration, that is price and quantity. We said when price increases from 10 to 15, quantity demand will drop by 8 to 4. Then we have our demand curve showing as follows. At 10, quantity demand is 8. By increasing price to 15, quantity demand is 4. Thus, we have the demand curve.
I'm an entrepreneur and a software engineer based in Ibadan, Nigeria. My years at McPherson University were definitely my defining years. Today, I'm one of the young IT professionals changing the status quo in Nigeria. I have even started consulting for A-list companies.
I'm a chartered accountant and a 2016 first-class graduate from the Department of Accounting and Finance, McPherson University, Nigeria. McPherson University provided me with the best ever learning environment. A serene and quiet environment that inspired, motivated, and prepared me for the world of works. Today, I'm not just a chartered accountant, but a community youth leader reputed for diligence, exemplary leadership and commitment.
That's always the story of students who opt for McPherson University, Nigeria's fastest growing faith-based university, established by Foursquare Gospel Church, Nigeria, and situated in the serene environment of Seriki, Sotayo, Ogun State. At McPherson University, we expose our students to a multicultural setting and diverse fields of knowledge through interactive teaching methodologies, project-based and hands-on learning techniques. Available undergraduate courses include nursing science, medical laboratory science, cybersecurity, information technology, software engineering, computer science, biochemistry, microbiology, economics, and international relations. Others are mass communication, accounting, finance, history and international studies, religion and peace studies, business administration, marketing, and English. We have undergraduate part-time and conversion programs in many courses as well as UPEP program. We also run postgraduate for PGD, MSc, and PhD in computer science as well as masters in business administration, MBA. Our telephone hotlines are 0803-473-6991, 0803-423-4432, 0812-469-9889, and 0803-330-4512. Or visit www.mcu.edu.ng.
Welcome to McPherson University, the home of champions. Here we raise people of excellence who will render service with godly fear. Admission is on.
This is a typical example of change in quantity demanded. Therefore, we can say that change in quantity demanded is majorly caused by change in the commodity price alone. Change in quantity demanded is majorly caused by change in commodity price alone. Also, it is a movement along the demand curve. What do we mean by movement? When price is 15, quantity demand is 4. We have a point A. When price drops to 10, quantity demand is 8. Then this is point B. This is regarded as movement along a demand curve. Back to change in demand. Change in demand is complete shift of the demand curve, either to the right or to the left. Change in demand is a complete shift of the demand curve, either to the right or to the left. However, what could be responsible for shifts in demand? These are other factors affecting demand except its own price. Meaning that other factors affecting demand except price of the commodity will result in change in quantity demand, will result in shift of the demand curve. What are the other factors affecting demand? 1, we have consumer income. Consumers' income. 2, we have price of other commodities. Three, taste and many other factors except the price of the commodity. So, on what basis do we have a rightward shift or leftward shift? Any favorable condition will result in rightward shift. Unfavorable condition will result in leftward shift. Favorable condition will result in rightward shift. Unfavorable condition will result in leftward shift. For instance, if there is increase in consumers' income, there will be rightward shift of the demand curve. Otherwise, there will be leftward shift of the demand curve. Also, if there is increase in the price of other commodity, now other commodity are explained in the context of complementary good or substitute. Other commodities are explained in the context of supplementary good or substitute. For complementary good, when price of complementary good increases, the demand for the other commodity reduces because they complement each other. That implies unfavorable condition. For price of other commodity may be substitute or complementary good. For substitute, when price of substitute increases, then the demand for the other commodity increases, which implies a favorable factor for the other commodity. For instance, using MTN and Glo as an example, Glo and MTN are substitutes. So, if price of Glo, if subscription price of Glo increases, then there will be high demand for MTN, which is positive, which is favorable factor to MTN. On the other ground, also for complementary good, we can use bread and butter. Bread and butter are complementary good. When price of bread increases, then it will be unfavorable condition, it will be unfavorable factor to butter because the demand for butter will reduce. So if price of bread increases, demand for butter will reduce. So the last point, taste. When consumer have favorable taste for a product, then the demand for such product will shift to the right. Otherwise, it will shift to the left. In the next segment, we'll be looking at the concept of elasticity of demand. And this is one of the most fundamental issues in microeconomics. Thanks for joining us.
I'm an entrepreneur and a software engineer based in Ibadan, Nigeria. My years at McPherson University were definitely my defining years. Today, I'm one of the young IT professionals changing the status quo in Nigeria. I have even started consulting for A-list companies.
I'm a chartered accountant and a 2016 first-class graduate from the Department of Accounting and Finance, McPherson University, Nigeria. McPherson University provided me with the best ever learning environment. A serene and quiet environment that inspired, motivated, and prepared me for the world of works. Today, I'm not just a chartered accountant, but a community youth leader reputed for diligence, exemplary leadership and commitment.
That's always the story of students who opt for McPherson University, Nigeria's fastest growing faith-based university, established by Foursquare Gospel Church, Nigeria, and situated in the serene environment of Seriki, Sotayo, Ogun State. At McPherson University, we expose our students to a multicultural setting and diverse fields of knowledge through interactive teaching methodologies, project-based and hands-on learning techniques. Available undergraduate courses include nursing science, medical laboratory science, cybersecurity, information technology, software engineering, computer science, biochemistry, microbiology, economics, and international relations. Others are mass communication, accounting, finance, history and international studies, religion and peace studies, business administration, marketing, and English. We have undergraduate part-time and conversion programs in many courses as well as UPEP program. We also run postgraduate for PGD, MSc, and PhD in computer science as well as masters in business administration, MBA. Our telephone hotlines are 0803 473 6991, 0803 423 4432, 0812 469 9889, and 0803 330 4512. Or visit www.mcu.edu.ng.
Welcome to McPherson University, the home of champions. Here we raise people of excellence who will render service with godly fear. Admission is on.